Fallen Chungus is a Twitter cartoonist most well known for his coolest thing ever and dark humor memes. He typically criticizes modern day interactions, from the content of the interactions themselves to speech patterns in general. Another thing to note, in case you haven't seen his Twitter already, is that he's very socially maladjusted. Let's take it back to the beginning, to the very first Chungus drama. Apparently, back in October of last year, Wholesome Chungus was accused of being a chaser, someone who lusts profusely after trans coochies specifically. This was most prominently done in a 4chan-esque collage, containing a blatant message saying that he thinks he's a chaser who doesn't fetishize trans women, and thanks the Lord for HRT. He claims, quote, "This image surfaced like last year, after a weird period where a lot of my close trans friends were going through shit, so I decided to be an ally and failed miserably. That's quite literally the end of it. This image was also compiled by a group of transphobic trolls, so yeah." Putting aside the fact that he is a minor who is being very open about his taste in porn, this nigga shouldn't have a Twitter account. Imagine my friend Jamal is going through a very tough time. He's very depressed, he just lost his job, he just lost his dad. And I just go up to him, and I say, "Is there a way of having jungle fever without fetishizing black people? Because if so, that's me." Or better yet, "Shit, I got down with that jungle fever. They don't call it gorilla grip or nothing. Her pussy wild style." You also gotta love the irony of calling yourself bisexual, then pussying out by saying, "Yeah, I have a thing for chicks and dicks, but both at the same time? An abomination!" Supposedly this was fine, and everybody ate up the cover story, until a guy named Lennox came along. Lennox was told by a few of his friends that Chungus is transphobic, a chaser, and more importantly, that Chungus also caused someone to get harassed into downing an entire bottle of pills because Chungus had her tag visible in a post of his. So, Lennox decided to be very vocal about his ire for Chungus. According to Know Your Meme, because both of these accounts have like thousands of posts, there's no way I'm scrolling through all of that, the whole harassment thing has literally no evidence aside from the accuser's word. However, a thing to keep in mind is that everyone involved in the situation deletes half of the things that they say. I did actually look up the user's tag on Twitter, and found this image. "No, but how do you fail 3 times? Like no hate, genuine question, how? Show us your skills then. You telling me to KYS? Yeah dude, no balls." Sorry about that, I was brewing a potion in the background. But back to my main point. Everybody is the bad guy in this drama, except for this guy. He's the funniest person involved. Both of the posters are making suicide jokes. One is saying that it's a skill issue to attempt 3 times and not succeed, and the other one's like, "Show us your skill." They're literally just expanding upon the joke that was previously made. But for some reason, the original replier isn't very comfortable when other people make jokes about suicide. Anyways, let's get back to the belle of the ball. I don't know who's in the wrong here, NGL, accused of being a chaser when there's no actual evidence. Thank the Lord for HRT. I defend myself. Everyone just calls me a retard and replies with memes or blatantly hypocritical rhetorics. IDK why you seek to involve yourself in the first place, but if you want an answer, it's right there. The only thing I'm worried about is the initial quote retweet out of nowhere, and your fans possibly harassing Dart. You're worried about a hypothetical that didn't happen. Whenever I even have to deal with this sort of thing, my fans just echo the things I say. They don't fucking harass anyone. I'd like to see one singular example of genuine harassment on my end. Go on. Do not ever say that your fans echo what you say. Otherwise, somebody's gonna take what your fans say and pin it on you. Especially if you have a big fan base, your fans are gonna say some real nasty shit. You gotta keep in mind that people like PewDiePie, who have hundreds of millions of subscribers, are accused of being Nazis, and they have to apologize for the actions of people who do things in their name, such as the Christchurch shooter. Ergo, if you want to be this heckin' wholesome e-celeb, instead of somebody who's associated with a lot of edgy stuff, you gotta condemn people who obviously aren't connected to you in any degree just because they're your fans. And people are way too stupid and don't know how to distinguish fan bases from creators. If the public applies this logic to somebody with a community of over 100 million people involved in it, they're naturally gonna apply it erroneously to people with even smaller followings than that. Again, everybody involved in the drama posts and deletes way too much for me to even look at it outside of a secondary source. So for all I know, he did apologize and nobody archived it. It's also not something I put a lot of blame on him for. It's more like a, well, what was she wearing sort of deal, you know? Later that day, Lennox Rose Real posts, "Some niggas on this platform deserve to die, no lie." To which High Tier Goddess responds, "The petty side of me wants to leak his address on some site that would get him harassed to all hell, but I need like 2 PCs and 3 VPNs for my plan to work."
What the hell did you just freaking say about me, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs, and I've been involved in numerous secret raids on Al-Qaeda and have over 300 confirmed enemy kills. You're freaking dead, kiddo! You're freaking dead!
Is this about who I think it may be? Yup. OMFG, he found the tweets. Womp womp, Goddess wants somebody doxed who definitely doesn't deserve it. Someone who made my girlfriend commit doesn't deserve it. Well, I'm sure I would have heard of that by now. Elaborate. Nigga, what is there to elaborate? My girl tried to commit. She's fine now, cause she made fun of his fragile ego. Eventually, some users found a retard-proof way of asking them where the hell's your evidence at, forcing High Tier Goddess to actually provide screenshots that her beloved committed suicide because of fallen Chungus. So she decides to post tweets from the private account. Praying I overdose. Nice knowing y'all. Being rushed to the ER by my dad. He only ever cares about me and my well-being when I'm about to die. Great, my dad found the pill bottle. No solid foods? The doctor never said that. I ain't happy or sad to be alive, but the doctor said I'll be fine. Phone's at low battery. If I'm alive, I'll message someone when I'm home. As Know Your Meme rightfully points out, this is very wishy-washy and not solid evidence at all. For one, the user doesn't even mention other users on the platform who were supposedly harassing her into downing an entire bottle of pills. But having it be on a private account as well as not having a date to corroborate it with makes it seem like somebody's hiding something. The other thing is that the person clearly knows how to private their account, but in spite of that, they were still supposedly harassed harshly enough to commit suicide. If you don't understand how that's a bad thing, you're also the type of person who probably wears only lingerie down Rape Road. The order of events as I presented them are a bit jumbled up because I don't really know when they happened. However, considering that a bunch of the messages leading up to this were deleted, the context is still just as accurate. Again, the frequency of their post-deletion is evidence that both of them are either impulsive or actively malicious. The deletion of most of the posts are inherently duplicitous. The initial poster can just say whatever the hell they want to get a reaction out of a replier, and then frame that replier like they're the crazy person. The main two users involved try to settle their differences over Discord. I put them on blast because what they said was fucking stupid. You can't argue with me on that. What am I supposed to do, dog? You expect me to handle everything with this ever-perfect godly whim just because I have a following? I don't know why Ricky would even do that. It's unpredictable. Please just don't put people on blast, especially with 50k followers. That's so dangerous, DIDD. I've seen people get doxxed that way. So you're telling me to take it up the ass because you don't like me. Whatever, dude, fuck off. Shat. Failed to send message, hold for option. In response to High Tier Goddess's comment about doxing him, he says, "Whatever, I'm going nuclear now. Same people who preach morality above all want me doxed and dead for speaking my mind about people's hate boners for me. I want these people gone." Like, I don't physically care, I don't feel anything towards these people, but I'd rather have it be known that their priorities are dangerous at worst and misguided at best. Do what you will with this information. I'm logging off for the night. According to Know Your Meme, Lennox posted about how they wanted Chungus to die. He deleted the unarchived post because, quote, "I said that because I had thought someone fully committed suicide because of him, and I immediately deleted it after they were okay. None of my other tweets are about him. You are genuinely a fucking weirdo." A mere 39 minutes after supposedly logging off, Fallen Chungus quote retweets the reply by Lennox Rose Real. "Nothing you say or do has been in the best interest of anyone. You are a walking, talking point of contention that thrives off of people's misery. You literally wished death upon me over something that wasn't going to happen. You are a miserable, miserable person. I hope you take this shit to heart, not for the sake of bettering yourself, but rather as an ugly reminder that takes over your mind that you are the very textbook definition of a hypocrite. You and your friends have made the only thing I look forward to a living hell." Shortly thereafter, Baller_Gaming1 asks about the post made by the girl who supposedly downed an entire bottle of pills because of Fallen Chungus. Yeah, he kinda posted a pic with me in it which had my @ and got multiple people to harass me and lead me to downing my entire bottle of pills. Chungus quote retweets, "If people can say I faked an entire suicide attempt, I can say the same. This is a bold-faced fucking lie, and the fact that this troglodyte is trying to put the blame on me for that is sickening. I'm done to adhering to the bullshit thrown at me time and time again."
After responding to a suicide baiter in a rather logical way by saying, hey, they don't have any real evidence to say that 1, it was my fanbase, and 2, they even tried to commit it, and essentially telling his fanbase not to take this suicide attempt at face value, he then turns around to his fanbase and says, hey, you should take my suicide attempt at face value. Alright, I give up. Anything I was trying to build, it's over. I don't care about the money, the partnership, or even the fans anymore. There's no meds left in the house. My parents hid them, but I'll find another way to do it. I always do.
Hey, so I just deleted my server and left every server. It's that server was something I held very near and dear to me, but there's honestly no point in continuing. For better or for worse, this is the last you're ever going to hear of me, and whether it be tonight, tomorrow, or the day after, I will kill myself. You've won. I'm done trying. There isn't much to look forward to in my daily life. It's these thoughts I've dealt with for as long as I can remember. So, do what you will with that information. I'm leaving. Please don't contact me. Please don't do anything to reach out to me. I'm done. And by the time you do, I'll probably already be dead.
The following day, Lennox Rose Real posts his suicide note, saying, I will attempt soon, I just need the strength. Goodbye. Less than 24 hours later, they quote retweet saying, my attempt failed, I'm okay now. Prior to the suicide attempt, 4chaners and Chuddies alike both tried to dox Fallen Chungus just to get a kick out of it, but now they had more of a motive and incentive to do so to make sure that he actually killed himself, or if he's safe if he didn't kill himself. The irony here is that the supposedly heckin' wholesome Twitter shrooms ended up mind-breaking this guy before the guys who were actually trying to dox him. And then, only a few days later, just like Phoenix from the X-Men, Fallen Chungus came back for the 4th time, in the form of Roblox. A few days after that, he returns to Twitter and says, got doxed by the Soyjack party while I was at the mental hospital. I just got home today. For what it's worth, I am not coming back, period. I want my story to serve as an example of both what not to do and what to dreadfully expect when you find fame. It's about time I start my own life. Later that same day, he said, I was originally going to write a longer thread, but I just want to put it out there that me returning is not a 0% chance.
No way! Yes way!
Although it'll be that way later when I've matured enough to withstand the toxicity that comes with platform management. Despite it, I love y'all. Naturally, people were asking him why he was playing Roblox when he was supposedly in a mental hospital, which he responds with, that simply just wasn't me. I haven't had access to a computer since I left. Even now, I'm tweeting this from a Kindle Fire. People also supposedly successfully doxed his father as well and called him multiple times, to which the father responded he didn't know anything about any sort of suicide ward or even an attempt, to which Fallen Chungus responds, my dad hasn't been in my life for 5 years, he doesn't get notified for anything due to his reputation. It's not easy to assume, but yeah, no one addressed him. Now you can either take this at face value or you can try and put puzzle pieces together, which is what I'm gonna attempt to do.
My grandma just called me a fucking nigger? I don't know.
Certified lover boy, certified pet.
Non-zero is the only way to describe the likelihood of him not owning a phone. This, combined with the fact that he confirmed that Soyjack party successfully doxed him, means that there's no real reason not to show him with his medical records, hospital gown, or even his wrist bracelet. Again, he was accusing other people of suicide baiting despite the fact that they never brought up any evidence, but for some reason we're supposed to believe it when it's him. Not only that, but the notion that he would want to use a Kindle Fire instead of his phone or the computer is very weird. A few days earlier, he said he was gonna log off of Twitter and then he went back on only 40 minutes later. And now I'm supposed to believe that he has any semblance of self-control when it comes to technology. I think it's far more likely the case that his parents caught wind that he was attempting suicide over the internet, and they decided to take away all of his devices from him. Now, I do believe that he's suicide baiting, but I'm not going to fault somebody who actually believes his story. I am going to say that you're kind of retarded if you're precluding the idea that he is suicide baiting. It may seem like I'm bullying this kid, but those of you who know me well know that I'm biting my tongue with the strike force of a hippo. If I wanted to mess with him in any degree, I'd tag him and Lennox just so that he sees my video. I want anybody who watches this video to compartmentalize Chungus as a prime example of what happened to the quarantine generation. How online gratification became the only type of dopamine that these herbivores
accept. Affirmation can only come in the most vapid forms, limited to hypersexuality and book cover identities instead of intimate assessments of character, because nothing cheers up your close friends more than saying you want to have sex with people who look just like them. The only meanings words hold to these people are relative to their goals at the current moment. Suicidal tendencies are very effective at garnering sympathy. I know at least a few of the responses are going to be like, oh, why didn't you do this? Why are you saying this about this person? Did you know that this person just turned 18? They're practically a minor at this point. It's true, I'm older than Fallen Chungus, and I also learned in elementary school that people are gonna be mean cunts on the internet. I know damn well somebody's gonna clip that part out of context, but I'll reiterate, I do not condone anybody doxing Chungus. I do, however, condone anybody bullying him because he 100% deserves it. Chances are, if you're my age, you have had friends who have committed suicide before. They may have been friends for only a few years, they may have been friends since childhood. The through line is that all of them have perceived themselves as either burdensome or useless. But they have one thing that Fallen Chungus severely lacks, and that's resolution. Every retard involved in this situation says that they had attempted to kill themselves, but they never actually succeeded. It's crazy to think that this many people above the age of 14 don't know where their arteries are located. They can't figure out how to snap their own necks, and they don't have the mental capacity to do anything more creative that's physically lethal, like falling off a cliff or anything. Is the suicide attempt fake? That doesn't matter, because if you scratch below the skin, Chungus didn't want to kill himself, otherwise he wouldn't have been on Roblox or Twitter or anything. He would be 6 feet underground now after a closed casket funeral, like anyone who actually needed help. It's so disgusting how flippant everybody is about using these terms. I already have a very negative view of people who use the term unaliving instead of suicide, and I think that alt F4ing is more respectful as a term. But I had such a visceral reaction to reading the word suicide being shortened to Sui, like it's a fucking purse or perfume brand. That's why I'm completely fine with referring to his supposed suicide attempt as a Ronnie McNutt reference. In conclusion, kids should not be on the internet. And if they are gonna be on the internet, they better just use a block button instead of being retarded.
Hey Mike, we've been noticing you've been having a lot of problems lately, you need to maybe get away, and maybe you should talk about it, you'll feel a lot better. And I go, no, it's okay, I'll figure it out. Just leave me alone, I'll figure it out, I'm just working on myself. They go, well, if you want to talk about it, I'll be here, and you'll probably feel a lot better if you talk about it. So why don't you talk about it? I go, no, I don't want to, I'm okay. I'll figure